Newsbud is a truly independent news site. We are 100% people funded through your subscriptions and donations, and most of our content is only available for our community members. But Newsbud is going to be releasing some archived content that was previously only available to our subscribers, so you can see for yourself the hard-hitting quality content that we are producing here at Newsbud on a daily basis, starting with Kurt Nimmo's 9/11, Saudi Arabia, and the 28 Pages video that was originally published at Newsbud on May 29th, 2017. Now, do not miss Newsbud's first annual 9/11 Activist Summit, Titans of Truth. This is a live online participatory conference with FBI whistleblower Sibel Edmonds, former Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney, intelligence expert Wayne Madsen, investigative journalist James Corbett, best-selling author Daniel Estulin, plus surprise guests. This event is taking place on Sunday, September 10th. A link will be provided below for more information, or you can go to newsbud.com. But there's less than 1 week to sign up for this one-of-a-kind event, which anyone in the world can attend because it will be live and online. Now, there are a limited number of spots available, so don't wait. Sign up today. And don't forget, a Newsbud membership gets you a discount on your registration. So be sure to support independent media and enjoy the show.
Defense lawyers representing 5 men accused of orchestrating the 9/11 attacks want access to an unredacted version of the 28 pages. On May 17th, during a hearing at Guantanamo Bay, lawyers representing Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Walid bin Attash, Ramzi bin al-Shiba, Ammar al-Baluchi, and Mustafa Ahmed al-Hawasi supported a motion filed by the Military Commission compelling the government to unredact the document so they can defend the accused. The attorneys argue that the censored information could be useful not only in the guilt-innocence phase of the trial, but also in sentencing, if their clients are found guilty. The government claims the defendants played crucial roles in Al-Qaeda, and as such are responsible for the 9/11 attack and should be put to death. The attorney representing al-Baluchi drew attention to page 419 of the congressional report. It refers to allegations in a CIA memorandum of financial connections between the alleged September 11th hijackers, Saudi government officials, and members of the Saudi royal family. Prosecuting attorney Edward Ryan told the judge the 28 pages were preliminary in nature and rendered obsolete by subsequent investigations, most notably the 9/11 Commission. He quoted House Intelligence Committee Chair Devin Nunes as saying the 28 pages, quote-unquote, do not put forward vetted conclusions, but rather unverified leads that were later investigated, fully investigated by the intelligence community. The September 11th Commission found there was no evidence to indicate that the Saudi government or Saudi senior officials individually had supported the attacks, and the kingdom's government has consistently denied it had any role in the plot. This contradicts a claim by 9/11 Commission member and former Senator Bob Kerrey, who weighed in on a civil lawsuit filed against Saudi Arabia by the families of the victims. He said evidence pointing to Saudi involvement has never been fully investigated. Former Senator Bob Graham went public in 2016 and accused the Saudis of involvement in the attack.
When we say the Saudis, you mean the government, rich people in the country, charities?
All of the above. If the United States government won't take action in a case as serious and severe as this, that was the word is overused, but was a transitional event in the history of the United States. What else will it take for Saudi Arabia to do before the United States government would be involved?
Graham was subsequently dismissed as a 9/11 truther by the establishment media, which is responsible for discrediting any alternative narrative that conflicts with the official explanation that blames the attack exclusively on Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. In addition to Graham and Kerry, John Lehman, an investment banker in New York who was Navy Secretary in the Reagan administration and a member of the 9/11 Commission, said there was evidence Saudi Arabia was involved in the plot. He said the chair and vice chair of the commission, former Republican Governor Tom Keene of New Jersey, and vice chairman, former Democratic Congressman Lee Hamilton of Indiana, played a game of semantics when they implicated only one Saudi in the attack, the diplomat Fahad al-Thumairi, who was deported from the U.S. but was never charged with a crime. Lehman said at least 5 Saudis could be implicated.
A former member of the 9/11 Commission, John Lemon, says the Saudi government employees played a much larger role in the attacks than the Commission presented. Remember, it's been 12 years since the 9/11 Commission published their report. It was largely read as an exoneration of Saudi Arabia, which was home to 15 of the 19 hijackers on 9/11. Lemon said the Commission had been aware of at least 5 Saudi government officials who were strongly suspected of involvement in the terrorist support network.
Following declassification of the document, Obama's White House attempted to downplay its significance, while also arguing the release would compromise national security.
Turn to issues that have been in the news recently, which is the 28 pages of the 9/11 report. Have you read it?
You know, I have a sense of what's in there, but this has been a process which we generally deal with through the intelligence community. And Jim Clapper, our Director of National Intelligence, has been going through to make sure that whatever it is that is released is not going to compromise some major national security interest of the United States.
The pages reveal that Saudi citizen Osama Basnan provided assistance to the alleged 9/11 hijackers. The pages describe him as an extremist who supported Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. The pages show Basnan received a direct payment of $15,000 from Prince Bandar, a member of the House of Saud and at the time Saudi Arabia's ambassador to the United States. He was later Director General of Saudi Intelligence. The pages also cite a CIA report that indicates Basnan received, quote-unquote, a significant amount of cash from an unidentified member of the Saudi royal family. After Abu Zabadiah was captured in Afghanistan in March 2002, it was discovered his phone book contained an unlisted phone number linked to a small Colorado corporation that was formed to facilitate the management of Prince Bandar's mansion in Aspen, Colorado. It also had the phone number of an individual whose name is redacted, but who was identified as a bodyguard at the Saudi embassy in Washington. The 28 pages also reveal that the Saudis laundered money through businesses connected to Osama bin Laden. An FBI agent in San Diego involved in the investigation said the scheme allowed the Saudi government to covertly fund Al-Qaeda. The pages also say the Saudis used a number of supposed charitable organizations to support terrorist activity. It alleges that the Saudi-based Al-Qura Islamic Charitable Foundation was involved in suspicious money transfers, document forgery, providing jobs to wanted terrorist suspects, and funding travel for youths to attend jihad training. The pages also reveal that several Saudi naval officers were in contact with the September 11th hijackers. A related fact shows that the Science Applications International Corporation, which profited greatly from the 9/11 crimes, had spent over 20 years building and training the Saudi Navy. At the time of 9/11, the company was run by Dick Cheney's protege, Dwayne Andrews. There is a wealth of circumstantial evidence pointing at U.S. government involvement. An unprecedented number of drills were scheduled on or about the day of 9/11, and these centered on the topic of Osama bin Laden hijacking planes and flying them into buildings. NORAD moved most of its planes so far from the Northeast Air Defense Sector that they couldn't reach New York or Washington in time. Engineers and other experts have shown how the World Trade Towers couldn't have collapsed in the way the government insists they did without planted explosives. Even the New York Fire Department said burning jet fuel couldn't have possibly compromised the structural integrity of the buildings, as the government claims. The government's narrative relies on the claim that Osama bin Laden had authorized the attack, and yet he wasn't listed by the FBI as a most wanted terrorist. The FBI's chief of investigative publicity admitted there is no hard evidence implicating bin Laden. The attack fulfilled the wish of the Bush neocons for a new Pearl Harbor, a pretext to invade Iraq and take out Saddam Hussein. Paul O'Neill, George Bush's Treasury Secretary and a permanent member of his NSC, says the Bush neocons drew up plans to invade Iraq a full 8 months before the attacks. In addition, the day before the attack, the Bush administration agreed on a plan to oust the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. In fact, the Bush neocons planned an attack on Afghanistan during the summer of 2001. Insider recounts of this revelation were ignored by the establishment media, but published in the British, French, and Indian media.
The 9/11 Commission also omitted the fact that the Project for the New American Century, many members of which had become key members in the Bush administration, published a document in late 2000 saying that a new Pearl Harbor would aid PNAC's goal of obtaining funding for a rapid technological transformation of the U.S. military. 9. The Commission also omitted the fact that UNICAL had declared that the Taliban could not provide adequate security for it to go ahead with its oil and gas pipeline from the Caspian region through Afghanistan and Pakistan. It also omitted a report that at a meeting in July 2001, U.S. representatives said that because the Taliban refused to agree to a U.S. proposal that would allow the pipeline project to go forward, a war against them would begin by October.
Saudi Arabia is not primarily responsible for 9/11. The 28 pages show that the kingdom played a role in the attack, but it was not the prime or exclusive motivator. For over 7 decades, Saudi Arabia has been the preferred client in the Middle East, along with Israel. Criticism of Saudi Arabia in the establishment media was virtually non-existent. The Royal Kingdom is economically, politically, and militarily dependent on the U.S. for its functioning and survival. And the U.S. in turn extracts enormous benefits from its dominance of Saudi Arabia. Control controlling Saudi Arabia and its massive oil reserves is of paramount importance for the West and its economies that run on petroleum. Adding to its significance is Saudi Arabia's location at the center of the region's oil fields and along the oil transit routes of the Persian Gulf.
Saudi Arabia is a key partner and a key friend in the region. They are a member of the coalition going after ISIL. They have been enormously helpful in a leadership role in trying to move the political process forward in Syria.
Al-Qaeda was not created in a vacuum. Beginning during the Cold War, the CIA aligned itself with radical Islam as part of an effort to defeat and roll back Arab nationalism. The CIA supported Osama bin Laden during its war against the Soviets in Afghanistan. Former British Foreign Secretary Robin Cook told the House of Commons that Al-Qaeda was unquestionably a product of Western intelligence agencies. He explained that Al-Qaeda, which literally means an abbreviation of the database in Arabic, was originally the computer database of thousands of Islamic extremists who were trained by the CIA and funded by the Saudis. In many ways, the 28 pages are a distraction from the real issue. An out-of-control CIA and FBI that have consistently used Islamic terror to accomplish political objectives, not only in the Middle East, but here at home. The current surveillance and police state apparatus would not have been possible without the manufactured specter of Islamic terrorism.
For just a small subscription fee, you can become a member of the Newsbud community and help keep this website running. Your subscription will provide you with full community access to exclusive content, including videos and articles from Newsbud's team of experts and analysts. Sign up today for full access at newsbud.com.